All right, let's get it popping, everybody. All right, what's going on, everybody?
Hello, everybody.
Putting the music in there too, man. Yeah, how's everybody doing today? As always, welcome. You're listening to the Nerdcore podcast reviews movies and talks about nerd shit, episode 332. And for the first time, it is live for patrons only, early, because they're the best of the people right now. So we're live for the patrons only.
Because they pay for this shit.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we're live using StreamYard, and we're here to do our Snowpiercer review to go ahead and kick off Science Fiction Month here at the Nerd Core. If you guys didn't know, we have already started our new month. We had so much fun doing Miyazaki Film Month last month with Claire, but the time has come for us to move on, and we're doing a good old new month here at the Nerd Core. Brad, how are we doing today?
Doing well, Raul. Doing well. We had to kick Claire off because we couldn't take any more of that Venom nonsense.
Oh yeah, of course. No more that dumb Venom nonsense. And that's amazing, man. I love that we just said that.
She's going to stab me.
She's going to stab you, bro. But dude, it's a new month. We're live, and it's awesome, dude. So of course, if you're listening to this right now early, it is because you are a patron of ours. But if you're not listening to this early and you're just listening to this on a regular Tuesday morning, that's okay.
Tuesday.
It's awesome, but it's fine. We love you either way. But if you would like to listen to these early and watch us live, all you got to do is go and pledge $1 a month to us, and that's it. You get this and all the other shows early.
Uno dinero. That probably makes no sense.
Yep. Yeah, it was really wrong. Un dollar, bro, not
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
that was on purpose.
Yeah. Yesterday was a great live show, wasn't it, man?
That was amazing. I mean, I wish we would have had this like from the beginning.
Oh yeah. I was talking to Alex today, and she said that the last two live shows have been amazing. It's been some of the best work we've done. And I was like, I cannot agree more. I think this.
Well, it's funny. Like in 3 years, we created something and had so many guests and had so many friends and made new friends that we can just like pick and choose now and be like, hey, I'm gonna put you on the video screen now. This is gonna be fun. We're gonna get Raul's brother in. Let's do this. Hey Shane, you want to come on? It's like randomly just throwing people in together and see what the hell happens.
And it's perfect because it's quarantine, so like we basically don't have anything else to do.
Exactly, like they don't have anywhere to go except to here.
Yeah, exactly. And then it brings out the best of us because honestly, that format is the format that we thrive in. I love doing this. I think we need a little bit of a balance of the serious and the non-serious. Like we need a little bit of that balance, and the Nerdcore Live Show really does that well. And we were playing around with StreamYard with that, and now finally we're able to kick off the actual phase of the StreamYards because we were talking about it. Phase 3 was we wanted to go video, like we wanted to figure out this video stuff. And now, since we found this wonderful platform, StreamYard, it means that we're able to use this, man.
We're right on track to what we wanted to do in year 3.
Really, we really are. We got hit with a little bit of coronavirus pandemic, but we were able to find out how to do this, and we're on track, man. I wish that this would have been alive like from year one. It would have been great to do all these, but I can't wait for you guys to just keep on seeing us live, and I'm really, really happy that we finally found something that works for us. Because you guys have no idea how bad I've wanted to do this for a really, really long time.
And just a special shout out to all the guests we've had in the past 2 episodes, because they're the ones who really made it fun. And it's probably some of the funniest moments.
Mm-hmm. Dude, it's some of the funniest moments, man. I just it's just the best, dude. And we're here to none other than to finally kick this stuff off, man. So what's it called? Let's go ahead and get this going here. If it would be right here, I got the spoiler warning. Okay, cool. I got my spoiler warning, and I got my my article here to read. So this is it, guys. We're getting into our first ever live review on the Nerdcore podcast now. So let's get this going. If you have never seen Snowpiercer, then this is your chance to get out of here. We don't want you to get spoiled. And if you don't care, then whatever, just keep listening. But your spoiler warning is in effect in a five, four, three, two, one. All right, man. Let's go ahead and do this. I'm gonna start doing my spoiler, my what's it called? My reading my introduction here. So, Snowpiercer. I'm not gonna try the Korean translations. I'm not doing that. Is a 2013 science fiction action film based on the French graphic novel by Jacques Laube, Benjamin Legrand, and Jean-Marc Rocher. I'm not trying. I'm not going to read the title.
Can I? Let me give it a shot.
Okay.
Les transpersonages.
Les transpignages.
Yeah. There you go. See?
I'm actual French. We're both actually French descendant, bro, and it's not fair. We don't know how to read this. The film is directed by Bong Joon-ho and written by Bong and Kelly Matterson, a South Korean Czech co-production. The film marks Bong's English language debut. Appropriately, 80% of the film was shot in English. The film stars Chris Evans, Song Kang-ho, Tilda Swinton, Jamie Bell, Octavia Spencer, Goang Sung, John Hurt, and Ed Harris. The movie takes place aboard the Snowpiercer train, operating on a globe spanning track, carrying the last remnants of humanity after an attempt at climate engineering in order to stop global warming, has unintentionally created a new snowball Earth. Evans stars as Curtis Everett, a member of the lower class tail section passengers, as they lead a revolution against the elite of the front of the train. Filming was done on train cars mounted on gimbals at Barandov Studios in Prague to simulate the motion of the train. Snowpiercer received critical acclaim and appeared on many film critics' top 10 list films of 2014 following its international release. Praise was primarily directed towards its vision and direction and performances, particularly Evans and Swinton's. Initially planned for a limited screen showing in the United States, the critical response to the film prompted the Weinstein Company to expand the showing to more theaters and through digital streaming services. Produced at a budget of $40 million, it received the most expensive Korean production ever, and it made $86.8 million. So, yeah. And we're going to talk all about that, why it made less. And cinematography is done by Han Kyung-pyo, and music by Marco Beltrami. And yeah, that's it, man. Brad, you've never seen this movie before, right?
No, but let me say I've known about this movie for quite a while, actually, because of a YouTube video that told the Willy Wonka theory, that this is a sequel to Willy Wonka.
Yeah, pretty much.
The original one.
Yeah. That whole conspiracy theory. It's funny.
Which it fits. It's not a bad conspiracy theory. It really does fit.
Mm-hmm. And this is also the first film you watch from Bong Joon-ho. Academy Award-winning director Bong Joon-ho.
And I mean, going in this blind is probably the best way going into this. Plus, it's free on Netflix. All you guys are stuck in your house. Don't Netflix and chill this. Just Netflix it. It's worth the watch. I mean, I don't know what it is with these train movies and these action scenes, but these have been some of my favorite movies I've watched.
It's Korea, bro. Korea has like an incredible talent. So, I mean, I'm going to go into my initial thoughts here. I love this movie. This movie is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's in that 100 list that we made. I think this is one of Bong's best work. And this being his first English film, it's amazing to see what he can do with it, because you see all the themes that he tackles in this, and then once you watch Parasite, you're like, wow, like he's really been studying the craft of filmmaking for so long, and in this film, it just shows, man. And it shows that he can do that blockbuster type of film, and he can go years later and make a Parasite that goes to win him his Oscar. It's incredible what this film does, man.
Well, and honestly, $40 million for a movie isn't that much,
Yeah,
especially
yeah.
for an action sequence starring Chris Evans, Tilda Swinton, John Hurt, and Ed Harris. It's not a lot of money.
This is that mid-budget blockbuster that Joker is, man. This is that mid-budget where you're putting a lot of money in there, but it's still got that feel of being this big event film.
Yeah, and just the whole this movie. And we talked about this. This movie kind of starts off slow, but you're still your eyes are still glued to the screen. So to me, I didn't really find it slow. I just found it because you can have those movies that are just slow and slow. This movie was just laying the foundation for what was about to come. It was putting the tracks down, and then it had the train just go 200 miles an hour to the end.
Because it's kind of ramping up and ramping up and ramping up and ramping up, and then it crescendos in that amazing climax, dude. And it's that's kind of Bong style, and you kind of really see it in this movie, and I love it. I absolutely love it, dude.
And then just the reveals in this, like the stuff like Mr. Gilliam being a part of this whole fucking thing because he was in the back of the train, and then Ed Harris's character, fucking Charlie from the Chocolate Factory, up there.
Yeah, dude. And then my favorite sequence is just when they go to the school.
I told him because Brenda was watching this with me. I told Brenda, at that point, I would have killed everyone on that train. It would have been too much for me to take. I would have murdered everyone.
Yeah, and then the action sequences in that yellow room with Evans and the girl. I can't remember her name. Gohan Son. And
the sauna.
Yeah,
the sauna room.
Yeah, the sauna.
Yeah, just crazy. And that one German, basically bad guy that didn't stop. He's like the Terminator. But and it's just weird how they go from train to train to train, and you're basically you start off for about 30, 45 minutes in the last car of the train, back where all these people are just dirty, they're filthy, they're lowest of the low, they're treated lowest of the low, they're kept down. And then as you continue moving, like you see, like they have fresh oranges, and then it gets to the ridiculous scene where they're having sushi. And then it continues to, like, as you said, go up and up and up until you're like, that there's a rave train. And there's an opium den train. And then until you get to the very last, till you get to the engine. And that's just where Ed Harris just hangs out in his robe all day.
Pretty much. And then what's it called? The performances are amazing, dude. I love Chris Evans in this movie, but to me, bro, this is the movie where I fell in love with Song Kang-ho. He's amazing in this movie.
Him, Goa Sung.
Yeah.
She played the daughter, right?
Yeah, the daughter.
Yeah. Those two really did steal the show. And they just made them feel like they were junkies, and even Chris Evans' character was like, y'all just getting high on this. And they're like, you think I just kept all this shit at the end to get high? I want to blow the fucking train door up.
Exactly. But like, once again, it's kind of like the same theme. Because I'm speaking as somebody who's seen Parasite. I know you haven't. And I'm glad, because I wanted to show you this way before you actually saw Parasite, because now you know his style. So when you get something that's a little bit more of a, of a more grounded type of work, even though this movie is really grounded, it never really is too high concept.
I mean, for being on the end of the world train, it kept the themes and everything to where, you know what they're talking about. The classes and the elites, and you're understanding what all this is about.
Yeah. It's kind of like, even the lower classes kind of put against each other, like just Chris Evans looking down on one of
the best Chris Evans performances was when he told the story where he ate a baby.
Yeah.
I know people are going to just think that sounds crazy, but if just watching him, and you can tell like they wanted me to be a leader, and I ate a baby. I literally ate a baby.
And just that whole part where you find out what's in those protein bars, and you find like it's crazy, dude. It's like kind of he's bringing around I chose this movie because I wanted to start off this month by not going the basic science fiction of space and aliens, because this is science fiction.
It is.
Sometimes science fiction is the end of the world, and you see it very, very well made in here, where you're like, okay, like the world is ending. Like basically there's nothing outside. What's it called? You got all these people inside this train, and there's class conflict and basically class revolution going on inside the train. And it's just amazingly made by Bong.
Well, and I just, some of these scenes, just the highlights of them, like when Chris Evans puts the gun to his head and they pull the trigger and they have no bullets, and they're like, they have no bullets, and they rush them. Just that scene right there, just proving like, oh, you don't have any power. You've been faking it this whole time. And then they get to the one car where it's just basically a hired mercenaries with axes that they have to go through.
Dude, that
then,
fight was
that fight, the end of it where the lights go out and he's like, get the fire, and you just see the fire come in, and it just this movie is spectacular in like every way.
On paper, this should be probably one of the highest grossing films. This should be one of the most successful, and it's a sad thing that that was ruined by the Weinstein Company, because they didn't want to promote it as much, even though it says in the Wikipedia, let's be real, it didn't get promoted until like years later. And a lot of that fault goes to Harvey Weinstein for basically not, being a shithead and not, basically burying this movie.
Well, and what was it? He wanted edits or something, and Bong Ho wasn't willing to give it.
Yeah, Bong Joon-ho wasn't willing to give it, and it's just it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And this should have been the movie to really give the notoriety to Bong. This should have been his big break to really hit the American
I mean, my God, it had Chris Evans, John Hurt, Ed Harris. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Like, how can this not be a big break? And Tilda Swinton.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Speaking of Tilda Swinton, she plays an amazing villain.
Oh, one of the best, dude. One of my favorite villains of all time.
And the scene where basically, in the one train car, I don't think it's this classroom one. I think it's the one after that.
Yeah.
But sorry, I had food delivered to me.
Thank you, Brenda. Live. This is why it's live.
But it's dinner time. Anyways, but just that one scene where you're going, he has to kill her. He has to kill this character. That is the only way he's going to show himself to be a leader in front of these people.
Yeah.
Is she has to die.
Yeah. Or just that scene where like they're at the enemy is on the other side of the train, and they're like, okay, they're gonna have to shoot to the other side so they can hit, and just those snap zooms of it, like
that was a little exaggerated because bullets don't work that way.
I know,
but it works as a good scene.
Yeah.
I mean,
dude, I don't know what they do. I don't know what's it called. I know that this is just a style of a Bong, and just how he works, and I'm like, film school in Korea must be very different. Like film school in Korea, they're teaching in something that they're not teaching in American film schools. Because
I can believe it.
Yeah, because I mean, we watched Train to Busan and we watched this one, and once and I want to make a pitch for next month to be for films from Asia.
I was about to say you're making a pitch to have Thomas the Tank Engine movies, just all trains all the time. Pelham 1, 2, 3, gotta watch it.
I want to make a pitch for films from Asia because I want to show some Park Chan-wook, because that's another one, a great Korean filmmaker. And you just see that all these Korean filmmakers really bring something incredible to the table. And that's not just like these relevant themes to the subject matter, but you also bring a very different style than we're used to here in America. And even then, like, I'm somebody who watches films from Italy, from France, from Mexico, from all over the world. But there's nothing like that Korean cinema feeling. There's nothing like that filmmaking from Korea.
I mean, yeah, it's a different. it's a different kind of way to watch. And I mean, I've been watching Asian movies. I almost dropped my food. God damn. But I've been watching Asian movies since I was 18, 19 with
Yeah.
Kurosawa. And even Korea is just so different from Japan.
Exactly.
Just the way they're filmed, the different cuts. You can definitely tell Korean cinema has this more fast-paced kind of way to it, like faster cuts. You go into different scenes real quick. Whereas like Kurosawa, he took his time on things. He showed like nature shots, and he really had you get into the landscape of it. And these Korean movies, particularly Train to Busan and Snowpiercer, I mean, you're like going places. You're on that train, and it's just like, oh, this dude's dead. We gotta go because zombies and shit. So it's like this is like actual life where you don't have time to cry over this best friend you just lost because you got to kill the crazy lady in the front of the train.
Yeah. It's incredible what you see when you bring these movies to the front, and I can't wait for you to watch Parasite, because he does that to an extent in Parasite, but he does it a little bit differently. And but when it crescendos in Parasite, it crescendos the same way it crescendos in Snowpiercer, and it's amazing. I adore this movie. The music is amazing as well. The production is incredible. Just that whole set piece, and I love the ending of just the daughter just coming down with the kid. And they're going off, and it's like it kind of leaves it open ended. There's a TV show, an American TV show being made. Unless you have Bong working on these TV shows like he's doing with Parasite on HBO, then I don't really care about these American TV shows of these, because I think that this itself is great as it is.
Well, and it leaves it open ended to the fact of, can they survive and what's out there. I mean, the winter is over. So, but can they survive? And that there's one particular scene where Brenda was like, do you know what he was talking about? It was the one where Song Kang-ho was talking about he saw something, but like Chris Evans wouldn't understand, so he wasn't even gonna go in detail about it. I'm thinking he saw a polar bear.
I think he saw a polar bear, or what's it called? I think he saw a polar bear, but I think one of the big things that this movie brings up is the fact that, like, can we survive? But can we humans survive without conflict? Can we humans survive without conflict, without being governed, without being like divided? Like, it really makes you think like all these things, because we're being against each other in that train. And then when you get out, you have the idea like, oh crap, like nothing's in order anymore. Can we really
and that was a big thing. That was Ed Harris's take of, everything in its place, everything has an order. Like, if you get out of balance, I mean, even in the sushi, Tilda Swinton even said it pretty well. If you get it out of balance, then you lose it all. That's basically what they were saying.
Yep. It exactly. And I know I'm saying it a lot right now. I love this movie, dude. It's one of my favorites, and I'm glad that this is what we opened the month with, because I think that now where we're going from here, we're gonna do 12 Monkeys next week, and then we're gonna do we're gonna do crap, I forgot my second pick.
That's a good one, whatever it is.
District 9. I'm sorry, we're doing District 9.
Oh, that was a good one.
Yeah, that was a good one. Oh, I can't wait to do that one. Blomkamp, bro. But I wanted us to start with this one because I think that this is really interesting. And for those of you who haven't seen this movie, because I know there's a lot of people who haven't, please watch this, and then watch Okja, and then you possibly watch Parasite when it lands on Hulu. But because I think that this is one of the movies that, unless you look at his other earlier Korean films, because those I've heard are amazing, and they're on my films from Asia, my 75 films from Asia list. And I'm gonna watch those later on, but I've heard of great things about those. But yeah, I love this movie, man. I give this movie a big 10 out of 10.
And for some reason, Korean action films that involve trains get my juices flowing. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Yeah, God, man, I can't wait for you to watch more of this man's work. Yeah, because this is amazing. This really deserved that big break for him, and it's a damn shame that it didn't.
And it's sad because this is everybody knows Chris Evans is Captain America, And I just think he just goes so far and beyond in this movie than he ever did in any Captain America
Yeah,
role.
I don't care what anybody says. I think this is his best. I think this is his best performance. This is nothing nothing Captain America has done since the iteration of his films and until Endgame can top what he does in this. I think that this is Chris Evans at his best. I want him to do more of these very grounded works because I think that he's incredible in movies like this.
Yeah, I mean, and hopefully we get to see him do more stuff that. And also, you forgot to mention the 4th movie of the month, which is what I'm excited for and was the whole reason I wanted to do this month.
Pitch Black.
And the best role Vin Diesel was ever in and ever will be in.
You can't touch that, bro. You can't.
No, it's so good.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, like, why didn't you pick Book of Eli?
I mean, Book of Eli to me, it's okay. Yeah. It wasn't my favorite. Like Denzel Washington just acts his ass off and everything, but he has so many other roles where he does so much better with what he's given.
Dude, what's it called? Like with Vin Diesel with Pitch Black, I think that's better. I think that's better than Chronicles of Riddick. But
Chronicles of Riddick is boring.
Honestly, man, because I know there's a Riddick and there's Chronicles of Riddick, right?
Well, there's Pitch Black, and then the second was Chronicles of Riddick, which just skip. It's so goddamn boring. I fell asleep twice in that movie. And then there's Riddick, which I really want to watch because I heard it's good.
I'm a huge fan of Pitch Black. I found Chronicles of Riddick okay, but what's it called? I don't think I've ever seen Riddick.
Maybe for a future review.
Yeah. Well, with that being said, we've reached the end, and we want to thank everybody who is listening on the podcast or watching on YouTube. And I know nobody could come in for the Patreon live, but that's fine because that's what this is for. Now, when we go offline, you guys still have this video for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
So it's okay. You guys have this early, and I'll have the audio version up for them too right now in a bit after we're done here. But we're going to go ahead and go into our plugs here. So as always, you can make sure to follow the Nerdcore on the Nerdcore_ on Twitter, Nerdcore on Instagram, and then on Facebook group, the Nerdverse official Nerdcore group. You can also find us on thenerdcore.com for all written content. I do a lot of good stuff on there. I think my last article was Cinema Paradiso. I talked about that movie at great lengths, and I talked about why it's probably one of the best coming of age films of all time. And you guys should probably go read it because I did a pretty damn good job, I think, on that article. You guys can also, check out this YouTube channel. Leave a like and subscribe. But make sure you turn on that post notification bell. It really does help us out. And now I'm gonna have to remember to say that more often on the episodes because they're finally on YouTube. And you guys go make sure you do that so you can be notified when we go live, when we do all this fun stuff, and these episodes are up so you guys don't miss a single one. Or you can go check out the playlist where you can find all the other episodes of all the other shows. And also, if you're listening on your podcast platforms, then please leave a rating review for us on your podcast app of choice. It would really help us out a lot. And for those of you who aren't pledged to the Patreon, I would like to direct you there and go to patreon.com/nerdcore and pledge to $1 or up. It's all good. $1 gets you free access to all this early, and you get a bunch of other cool stuff like the comic book club, which we'll be doing soon as well, and all that fun stuff. We have executive producers and associate producers that we need to get through because they're the people who make a lot of these shows happen. And those are Cassie and Sarah, our associate producers. And then we have Grayson Barker 98 on Instagram, Warlord 1bar on Twitter. Grayson is is our first executive producer and our OG, and we love him so much for helping us here at the Nerdcore. And Brad, where can they find Shane?
You follow our friend Shane at twitch.tv/SWRKK or on Twitter at SWRKK Twitch.
Awesome. And then you can find Brown Rice at Brown Rice 1996 on Instagram and Twitter. Bryce is the last executive producer that we have, and he's awesome. And it's been a really, really, really fun time here. And Brad, I'm glad that we kicked off Science Fiction Month live. And as always, this has been your Nerd Chicano. I'm signing off. And we can send them in to the video and podcast void now, Brad.
All right, Raul. Thank you for being host as always. Thank you to all our Patreon supporters out there, all our listeners. We appreciate each and every one of you. And I guess to end this episode, I'll just say, come and ride that train. Young Yoda out.